Alright, welcome back to another Nanomachine breakdown video, or what I like to call them. Today we're diving into Chapter 318, Realm of Nature Part 4. After last chapter dropped that massive origin on the demonic key, this one feels like the payoff we've been waiting for. We're in the middle of Chonyeonwon's breakthrough into the realm of nature, and the chapter splits time between a mind-blowing spiritual vision and some serious action back in the physical realm. It's a lore-heavy chapter that recontextualizes the entire heavenly demon cult and sets up some insane future stakes. So I'm going to break down by the usual sections that I do, so we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, moving into the pacing and structure of the chapter. Pacing-wise, this chapter is deliberate and methodical in the first half. Classic info dump. It slows down in the mental realm for that deep conversation and teaching moment, which actually works because the reveals are so huge. Go spanning this in the last chapter. Then it flips hard into the action into the real world, which I thought we were going to see Chonyeonwon's entrance as well, but we ended up seeing the two guys from the Heavenly Demon Cult taking this guy from the sword blade, and this helps to give a lot of contrast with the first half and the second half of the chapter. The structure is pretty clean. It starts with the vision and the ancestor sequence, so it's the meat of the chapter usually, with the dialogue heavy scenes. It then builds to a technique mastery climax and a chilling prophecy tease, then cuts to the battlefield at Chungbai Mountain for the fire and ice chaos that we see unfold. It feels like two halves of one bigger moment. We have enlightenment in the mind and the war in reality. Not the fastest chapter, but the structure serves the story perfectly. Obviously no wasted panels here as well. Alright, moving on to the character components that we can draw from the chapter. First, we'll start off with Chonyeonwon, and in this chapter he's doing a lot of legwork. In the mental realm, he absorbs knowledge like a sponge, masters the new sword art instantly, and shows that, growth that he usually does. Calm, focused, pretty terrifying when you realize just how strong he's getting. The Nano Machine plus his talent combo is pretty broken at this point. Now we'll move on to the founding Heavenly Demon, so Chonyeonwon's ancestor, and he comes through as this wise, no-nonsense mentor figure. He's not just dumping lore, he's actively teaching and pushing Chonyeonwon towards his destiny. You feel the weight of generations in his words. On the battlefield side, we've got Gulwan, I think his name is. He's the enemy that has the Fire Keating energy orb that he had taken, or they suspect, and he's an actual legit threat. He's regenerating like crazy, throwing out supreme saber arts and flame dragon's ascent. He's cocky, powerful, and clearly the current obstacle. I think what I was expecting was probably getting a cliffhanger of Chonyeonwon coming out and saving the two of them from that fight, and then, showcasing his overpoweredness. Now getting to the cult side, we have Dan Yu Chon, the Left Guardian, and the others. They're holding their own, but clearly struggling against his regeneration and firepower, but solid character work all around. Moving on to the story progression and lore components of this chapter. Story-wise, we're progressing Chonyeonwon's cultivation arc pretty quickly. The Realm of Nature breakthrough isn't just a power-up, it's a direct line to the ancestors and the true history of the cult. Some major lore drops that we had seen. 1. The classic misconception about the demon cult gets corrected. They're not evil for the sake of it. They worship strength and the brutal reality of natural selection. That's the core philosophy. Second, we have the Demon Chi's true origin. It came from sabotaging the mythical creature's, Imugi's ascension, corrupting its spiritual power and turning it into something that opposes divine and spiritual energy of mythical beasts. With number 3, we have the demonic martial arts revere martial arts and that raw survival of the fittest mindset, not some cartoon villainy. Next, Chonyeonwon has balanced 4 sacred energies with the heavenly demon Chi, or Ki, making him uniquely positioned to actually annihilate immortals. The ancestors straight up say the demonic path was built for one ultimate purpose, to kill an immortal, maybe with the going around that prophecy. Next, we have the ancestor teaches the real transient heavenly demon sword art, or the supreme version of the sword body unity. The previous demon god sword art was apparently just a fraction of the true power. Chonyeonwon masters the world annihilating technique on the spot in the mental realm, only doing about twice before he gains mastery. The last point is the big prophecy tease. The ancestor reveals something about a prophet's identity that visibly shakes Chonyeonwon and some of us that are reading this, then tells him to go teach that greedy immortal a lesson before the connection severs. Blade God hints are strong here, obviously. And back in reality, the cult is in a heated battle against Golwoon's fire-enhanced regeneration and massive area attacks. The chapter ends on that high-stakes action note. Now moving on to my final thoughts of the chapter, and this chapter was definitely a good one for lore fans and power scaling enjoyers. It doesn't just give us cool fights, it sort of redefines what the Heavenly Demon cult has been fighting for across generations. The ancestor scenes carry massive weight, the technique reveal was pretty awesome, and the immortal slash blade god prophecy setup really sets up what's next and really gets you in anticipation for it. The split between mind and battlefield keeps it dynamic, and China Moon's growth feels earned. This chapter changes the game for the story going forward. Some questions are like, what do you guys think of the ancestor reveal and the sword art mastery? Was the lore drop everything we had hoped for? I liked it, or more hype on the battlefield payoff for next chapter? We'll have to see. Anything that people have questions for or what they liked about the chapter, put that down in the comments below. Otherwise, this kind of does it for the chapter, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, see ya.